I don't give fast food items praise very lightly on this channel, but I can honestly say that KFC's new Gravy Fest flight is an absolute home run, and I recommend you give it a try. I will say that right out of the gate. If you're curious and just want to watch that much of the video just to get the point across, yes, this is really, really enjoyable, and is a limited time release I actually recommend you check out. Now, of course, we will go into one of our detailed breakdowns of what comes in this Gravy Fest flight. We will analyze each of the 3 gravies you get, and I will give you a thorough review as always. And be sure to stay tuned all the way to the end of this video if you want a bonus review of KFC's recently released limited time only Festive Pot Pie. Enough yapping from me though, let's talk gravy. If you want to try out the Gravy Fest flight from KFC, you can order it as an a la carte option in which you get just the 3 sauces if you already have stuff you want to dip into it, or you can try it via the meal. You can get the Gravy Fest tenders box, which is what I did. It comes with 3 tenders, one of each of the 3 signature gravies in the flight, a biscuit, an order of fries, and a medium drink. Comes out to $10.89, or at least it did near me. If you have your own dipping agents at home and you want to try just the gravies, you can get the flight for $1.99, which I don't think is a bad deal either. Those 3 gravies include the signature brown gravy, a white peppercorn gravy, and a Southwest cheddar gravy. We are going to try each of these now, give them a proper taste test and analysis, and try each part of this box in the gravy. Not only the chicken tenders, which is probably the most important, but how do the fries go with each gravy? Which one is the best? Which combo is the best? How is the biscuit in the gravy? So we're going to try all of that out and let y'all know our findings. I started out with the signature brown gravy, and I have to say overall, I thought this one was pretty good. It's nothing exceptional. It's not incredibly high quality tasting, but it reminds me of like a beef bouillon or even like a ramen seasoning for a beef ramen. The chicken tenders themselves were a little dry, but this gravy definitely moistened it up, and it adds a nice complexity and flavor. I thought the fries paired well with this, which kind of makes sense because these will go well on mashed potatoes as well. KFC has pretty decent signature fries as well. They remind me of sort of pub bar kind of fries with a good battering on the outside. The biscuit was solid in this gravy as well. I gave this particular gravy a 6.5 out of 10, all things considered. Up next, we've got the white peppercorn gravy. This reminds me of the gravy that you might be served with a traditional biscuits and gravy dish. And upon tasting, I was definitely a fan of this one, probably a little bit more than that signature brown gravy, although that one wasn't bad. But this one has this subtle lightness to it alongside its creaminess. You do get some of those pepper notes coming through, and overall it's got a mouth-watering factor to it. It definitely enhanced the chicken strips, made them more moist, as did the signature brown gravy, but it adds that creaminess that I think contrasts well with the flavors you're getting from the breading. It's not overly in your face with flavor, but it's more of a light creaminess. I thought this gravy went totally fine with the fries. It wasn't my favorite pairing, but with the biscuit, it was excellent, which was sort of what I predicted would be the case, of course, since this is sort of like your biscuits and gravy type of gravy. I do enjoy the KFC biscuits. I said that in my last review of the honey barbecue tenders. The biscuit was the best part, and in this case, the biscuit was on point. Flaky and savory, and pairs really well with this light, creamy, peppery, and moist gravy. Is it the best white peppercorn gravy I've had? No, but I do think it is pretty good for KFC standards. I gave this one a 7.3 out of 10. Moving on, lastly we've got the Southwest cheddar gravy. This one was the most unique and the most uncertain to me in terms of would it be good, would it be totally disgusting, and I have to say it reminded me a lot of a really solid queso. It's maybe slightly less thick in consistency, so I think KFC did a good job with making it more gravy-like in a true sense. And I would say this one I enjoyed the most overall with each of the 3 components for dipping. The tenders went well. I wasn't sure if that would work in the queso, but it really did. There's a little bit of a kick to these. It's better than nacho cheese, though. It's not like your stadium plastic nacho cheese. It has that lightness of a broth. At the same time, it does have that creaminess of a queso. But it's cheesy, and it's got a good spice content to it at the same time without being totally derailing in terms of just making your mouth on fire. This is banging with the fries, too. It's like a spicy cheese fry kind of situation, and it works super well with KFC's fries. Very solid with the biscuit as well. I would say overall this might have been my favorite of the gravies, but each of them honestly had redeeming qualities. I gave the Southwest cheddar gravy a 7.5 out of 10. So that concludes the portion of the review in which we're reviewing the gravy flight itself. I think the Southwest cheddar queso is the winner, but I did enjoy all of them. They do each have something that I like about them. With respect to these tenders from KFC, I wanted to touch on those again. I am not the biggest fan, subjectively, of KFC's chicken, but I do think their tenders are representative of what their chicken kind of tastes like, whether you're getting it off the bone, like the bigger pieces. So I do think they do a good job of actually encapsulating the vibe and flavor of their chicken in their tenders. Not every place does that. My complaint is that I don't love the peppery seasoning, and I think they're a little bit dry overall. Some bites of these tenders that had a nice crispiness, it just wasn't consistent on every tender and every bite. So I was ultimately fine with them. I just wasn't really moved by their quality overall. If you've watched to this point of the video, I do definitely appreciate the support, and I appreciate you staying with us here. I ask you to consider liking, commenting, and subscribing this video so it can perform better in the algorithm and more people can see it. Because why wouldn't I want these videos to do well? Extra thanks for y'all staying tuned in here. Let's check out this festive pot pie from KFC. As we take it out of the box, I thought the presentation was really nice. It's got a nice flaky golden brown crust to it, and it's piping hot. Now as I dig into the pie, the thing that's nice about it is that there's an evident flakiness. It is not going to be a doughy and gummy crust, which sometimes happens with these type of pot pies. As we test out the actual filling of the pot pie, the flavor that jumps out to me the most and is by far the most in your face in my opinion is the flavor of the peas, which I don't love, and I don't think is the flavor you really want to be driving the bus in a pot pie. There's not a ton of chicken pieces in here, but overall it's solid. It's got a good tender consistency, but the peas really overshadow the flavor of everything else. I thought the filling of this pot pie was pretty forgettable, and as far as the internals of the pot pie go, I think it's not any better, if not even worse, than like a frozen pot pie you could get at a gas station for $1 or $2. This is $4.99, and it is bigger than most of those frozen pot pies, but the quality doesn't really stack up. Now, as we speak about the crust itself, that was a stark contrast with my opinion on the inside filling. I thought this crust was executed exceptionally well. Great flakiness, as I mentioned, and it tastes really good. It doesn't taste like burnt oils like some pot pie crusts can. It's got a light crunchy texture, and I tried the flaky crust in each of the dipping gravies as well, and they all worked well. I think my particular favorite gravy slash pot pie crust combo was the white peppercorn gravy with that pot pie crust dipped in it. That worked super well with that light creaminess. So the filling of this pot pie wasn't great. I thought the crust was really good and definitely above average compared to one of those gas station type of pot pies. All that considered, I gave it a solid 6 out of 10. Nothing to write home about in my opinion, but again, I feel like that crust far outshines the quality of the internal filling of the pot pie. At that's going to take us to the conclusion of this video. I hope you enjoyed the little bonus review at the end. If you've made it all the way to the end, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the support. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these products reviewed in this video. The gravy flight, the tenders box, the pot pie. What was your thought on each of those products? At that, I look forward to chatting in the comments as always, and I'll see y'all in the very next video. Peace.